kids need to learn and to need to communicate with their parents. All of this from parents. The question of finding the balance between utilizing what the internet has to offer and minimize the risk and pitfalls is a crucial of the internet is a crucial one to deal with. So today we have Lola Adeola-Oni, and Lola is a development and humanitarian practitioner with expertise in child protection, child safeguarding, prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse. She has over 10 years experience in various roles as an international development specialist and has worked in the UK, Nigeria, and other sub-Saharan African countries where she provides technical support in child safeguarding and protection. Lola, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, okay. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Okay, so we just want to talk in general terms about what online safety means. If there's a concept of online safety, for instance, surely there are
Okay.
dangers that people need to be aware, yeah, that people need to be aware of. And so in this
Yeah.
regard, especially as regards children who are really the most vulnerable and in need of protection, we want to start with what online safety means and then segue
Okay.
into the dangers and risks and threats that online poses or into the internet poses to kids.
Okay. All right. Thanks, okay. Yes, there is the concept of online safety, especially when you're talking about child protection and also child safeguarding. And what do we mean by online safety? So online safety, well, we'll call it online abuse, would be any form of abuse, threats to children, safety to children that is caused or which happens on the internet, right? Which happens online. So it could be on their phones, on their laptops, their parents' phones, their parent laptops, on the platforms that they use, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok is like the reigning app now for kids, you know, any sort of those platforms, online platforms that could potentially put children at risk is what we term as online safety, ensuring that when we give them access to online, to the World Wide Web, and we give them our phones, we give them devices that are connected to the internet, ensuring that we have mitigated the risk to children, the risk to harm or accidental injury or sexual abuse and exploitation to children in the course of them accessing such platforms and engaging with the users on these platforms.
Okay. And so some of the dangers, as you said,
Yeah.
include sexual exploitation, grooming, bullying. Can you just speak to us about these dangers in detail? Especially because, I mean, I was just reading World Economic Forum data, one on Child Online Safety Index, and it says over 60% of 8 to 12-year-olds are exposed to cyber risk, including cyberbullying, gaming
Yeah.
disorder, online sexual behavior, fake news,
Yeah.
and others. So can you just speak to us in details about the various forms of dangers that kids can face when they use the internet?
All right. Just before I get on that, I think it would also be good to also share on this platform that because of the COVID context that we are in now, there's a lot of learning online. There's a promotion of online learning, which has further increased, the risk to children, because now children now have to go online for schoolwork, for education, for educational content. And there's a lot of study going up that COVID context has indeed increased online sexual abuse, for instance, right? So there's statistics that have shown that due to COVID context, the rate or incidence of online sexual abuse. Your question, the different types of abuse that children can be exposed to when they're online is one would be online grooming. So what is online grooming? Online grooming is where children befriend other people online, and sometimes they could be befriending someone who is an adult. who is a sexual predator and who is there just, for what they can, for the abuse that they can perpetrate on the children. Sorry, I'm having calls coming in and I'm having to cut off the call. So that is what we mean online grooming, where children are being befriended and they're being befriended online with the person who are a 10-year-old kid, right? Just to befriend another 10-year-old kid online. And what would normally them into sexting. What do we mean by sexting? So sexting is now you're friends with this cool guy online, and you're already forming a relationship, you're bonding, and the next thing is, if you love me, if you care about me, send me something about, send me a picture of yourself, nude picture of yourselves. It could be maybe your boobs, anything, your private parts. And then you're sharing that, you're sending that to that person that you think online, because yes, this person is my age mate. And even within, there's also peer-to-peer abuse as well. So children also do sexting. I'm aware that children also do sexting, sharing nude images of them to their, with their friends, or, someone who they think they love, their, like, puppy love and all that. And from there, when those images go online, as we know, once images are online, you can't really, there's nothing you can do about it to get them back. That is where you send image. So it's with sending the nude images or the video, the naked videos online. It could lead to pornographic content, where people, where they use that, where they sell that online, or people just go and access these free materials. In Nigeria as well, we know that kidnapping also happens online. Because especially Facebook, when you're sharing pictures of yourself, you're not removing your location, right? So you're saying hashtag, I'm in front of, I'm in front of Sheraton Hotel, hashtag, I'm here. Everybody knows your location. That could make you susceptible to kidnappers, right? Because they know where you are, they know how to get to you. So if they have been watching you, then, they know how to access, how to get all those things from you. And then we have cyberbullying. So cyberbullying often also occurs, it could be peer-to-peer, and it could be to force or to coerce a child from doing something they wouldn't normally do. So, I told you about online grooming, and then which leads to sexting. So now when this other person has these naked pictures, these pictures they wouldn't want their parents to see or their friends to see, when they have it, and then they're asking them something in exchange. Maybe they want to go further than, they want to be physical now and not necessarily non-physical. That could lead them sharing that content, right? They'll say, okay, if you don't do this to me, I'm going to release these pictures and everybody will know what you have done, or if they're offended by them, maybe something happens, they can decide, okay, because I'm no longer in good relationship with this person, I can expose this photo and it goes viral. So that is where you have cyberbullying. That's how cyberbullying comes up, because someone is blackmailing you for the content that you have posted that you don't want anybody to see. You don't want your friends to see. You don't want your parents or your family.
Yeah, is that what people would term revenge porn?
Exactly, revenge porn.
Okay, and then you're saying that you found that just in your work and in your research, you found that these cases are happening more often during the COVID era than they ever did in the past.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, will you say that these issues are having a greater impact on children's well-being, their mental well-being, and just their happiness index in general?
Oh, definitely. Any form of abuse, whether it's whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, it would definitely have an impact. And when it comes, not necessarily with online, the thing about online is sexual abuse would not necessarily come, because if someone has your nude pictures or your nude images, and then they're using that, putting that up, sharing it, and then it becomes a pornographic content. It is a form of abuse, which can lead to emotional abuse. Cyberbullying would lead to emotional abuse. Kidnapping would lead to physical abuse. Even accident could even lead to death. So definitely it would have an impact on children. And the fact that we don't also have, I fear for Nigerian children, because in more developed societies, they do have their agencies whereby they are really into online sexual, like online safety. And I know in the UK, for instance, if you're a child and you go on a website and you see something, maybe someone is bullying you or a content you don't like, there's an icon that you can click, and that icon takes you to this agency who monitor this, able to safeguard you. They are respond to such situation. But in Nigeria, we don't have anything like that. Like, I'm having discussions with my IT colleagues at work, and we don't have an agency that caters or seeks to trying to protect children from online abuse. We are more concerned with the 419ers, the fraudsters, but we don't remember that our children are also going online, and so that poses greater risk for Nigerian children, because when it does happen, they may have nowhere to turn to. They won't know, they won't know what to do, because there's no plan. We are not telling them this is what you should do if this happens to you online.
That's definitely a challenge, really, especially as they have nowhere to turn to, and especially as they oftentimes have parents that are internet illiterate per se. They have no literacy and cannot even help them
Exactly.
with tools or empower them. So that's really a challenge. So then, we then move on to how we can educate parents or even the kids themselves, or how we can empower them and just leave them empowered on tools or ways that they can protect themselves from the risks and harms that using the internet can pose.
Yeah. Okay. So I always have tips for children and I have tips for parents, right? So for children, the first thing I always tell children when I'm talking to them is know who your friends are. What? Hello?
No, go ahead. No, hello, can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay. So I tell children, or we need to teach children, to tell children, know who your friends are. You don't, or make sure, especially when Facebook, when you're on Twitter, when you're on TikTok, Instagram, only accept friend requests of the people you actually know, because that is the first thing. Because so many people online would parade themselves as who they are not, And I used to tell myself, like, with the profession that I'm in, I remember when I was younger, when I was in my teenage years, when we had Hotmail, we used to have the Hotmail messenger. And I befriended so many boys online from different parts of the world. Like, they would show me their pictures, and so many things could have gone wrong, in my innocence at that stage. But thank God, that didn't go that way. So the key first thing is telling children to know who their friends are. Only befriend somebody that you know. Do not accept friend requests of a stranger, of somebody who's not connected to you, or that you don't personally know. Also, know what you share online. If there are things, share them on. Don't share on WhatsApp with your bestie, with your close friends. If there are pictures or things that you don't want, you won't be proud to show your parents, then don't share that. We also need to teach children how to block unwanted friend requests or people bullying them online. Let's teach them using their phones, whatever application they use, they must know, or platforms they use. Every platform, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, always have these security features. And as parents, we need to know what that is, and we need to teach them how to block images that are offensive to them or that they're not comfortable with. We also need to teach children that, not everything they see online is true, right? Like, people parade themselves with a false pretense, and they need to be everything people post online is true. So the fact that I'm standing behind, on a yacht doesn't mean, I may, people Photoshop things, and we need to let children know that. Another key thing when it comes to online safety is location. Never to share their location online. In fact, we must know where, how to be. I disable my location, like when I'm posting anything, so that people, so there are two ways to this. It's either you share the picture after you're not in that location. So say for instance, you go for summer holiday and then you're sharing picture. You don't share the picture when you're currently there. Maybe when you return home, then you can begin to share those pictures and tag whatever the location. But if you're in a particular location and you want to share a picture, then please, you must you must disable your geotagging, your location on the platform that you want to use, because that is very risky. It puts everybody, not only you, but everybody around you at risk, safety risk. Also, they must know how to report. Every platform we use, there are ways where you can report whether it's an abuse, whether it's cyber, whether it's content you don't like. I know Facebook will ask you, is this content offensive to you or something, I think. And you must know, we must show children how that happens. When we're buying games for children, right? When we're buying games for children, we should not indulge them and buy games that are not age appropriate. Just because they are very good at games and IT, kids nowadays are very IT savvy. But regardless, when they're going to be playing games online or viewing stuff online, we should educate them that they can only view appropriate content, age appropriate to them. That is very key. Especially for instance, YouTube is one, and there's a kids YouTube that we can always send children to. So we need to bear that in mind, that yes, because your child is very IT savvy and can access so many things, you must always bear in mind that whatever they access online must be age appropriate. You must know what those age appropriate contents are and how to direct your children to view this age appropriate content. So that would be like tips for children. For me, tips for children. Yeah. But for parents, I don't know if that's in Nigeria. I've tried to find out, but I'm not sure. But I know there's this thing. So if you get like an internet, a Wi-Fi connection, you subscribe to Auto or whatever in the UK. I know that you can tell them to limit. There's a way that they disable content. So anything that is 18 and above. Yes, exactly. Your internet service provider can disable that, such that anybody connected to your Wi-Fi at home can't access anything that is 18 and above. Anything that is 18 adult, 18 and above content, they can't access it. So maybe something that we can also try to see whether or not our service providers in Nigeria can also include that feature for children as an added step. And then I hear, like you said, we have so many children who are, so many parents who are IT literate. So this is the 21st century. There's no time to be, to not be IT savvy now as your kids. Like, you must know their business. Whatever game they like, you must play the games with them. Whatever content or chat, you must do it with them. Whatever platform they are on, you should be part on that platform. They may not want to be your friend because, it's not cool that, but to be investigative parenting, whereby you are checking out their status without them necessarily knowing that, mommy is on, mommy knows what I'm posting. But, you must know what is allowed and what is not allowed, right? So that you know how to better engage your children. In terms of security features as well. Most parents don't know security features, right? Firewalls, you're getting a laptop. Are you putting the necessary firewalls on the laptops? Are you putting the necessary restrictions on the laptop or the tablet or the phone to make sure that they can access? Because we're curious, right? When they are downloading movies, if your child likes downloading movies online, that is very, very high risk, because I download movies as well. There are images, pornographic content pops up while you're downloading, and you constantly have to click no, 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 no. So, you mustn't allow your children to be by themselves downloading content like that. And then security, yes, like I said, knowing the security features, and you as parents as well, don't compromise your child. The same thing, the same thing goes when you're in a location and you're taking pictures. Please remove the location, because don't take pictures of your children that are seductive. Don't take pictures of your children that could compromise your child and post them online as well, because you're also, yes, it's innocent, but you may be putting them at risk. So also we must be mindful of that, and we must know where to seek for help. We should know, who can I talk to if this is happening? Because you will be telling your child, if this happens to you, please come and talk to me. Or if you see that something is happening online and your child confides in you, you must know who to talk to, right? So you also have contact details of agencies that you can call, a friend that you can talk to know what the next line of action would be to better protect your child.
Okay, so when you say parents shouldn't post pictures that are seductive, I mean, some people will disagree with you and say that even when the pictures are innocent, just putting your child's picture, regardless of what the child looks like, because really, how can a child be seductive, right?
Yeah.
So people might disagree with you in that regard when you say like seductive pictures of children. But also, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking a parent having a good relationship with their child, do you think that it definitely has a role to play in protecting the children? Do you think it has a role to play in protecting the children? Because then the children are more open and are more willing to speak to the parents about their experiences on the internet, perhaps. So is sexuality education some form of way to protect your children?
One, I think
from the hands of
coming to the seductive, from the pictures. I think because even as development practitioners as well, their pictures, it may be seductive, it may not be that, but they're pictures that just compromises children, right? Pictures, it could be pictures that are bad tastes, right? So it could be half naked picture of your child, that is bad, because even as when you're doing advocacy or campaign, I wouldn't approve such pictures to go online. So that's what I mean in terms of, sorry, so hello, okay, so I think my battery is running low. So that's what I mean in terms of, those type of pictures. But I'm thinking, yes, like you said, it is always good to have for parents to have good working relationship with their kids, right? Because because if you don't have that, they won't come to you when something is happening to them. So definitely yes, and we must also teach them sex education. They must learn that there is abuse. We must teach them about sexual abuse, right? And we should know that, I tell people, we should know that sexual abuse is not only rape until when rape happens. It's not only until after intercourse happens. It can be touching, it can be sharing content, it can be anything. So sexual abuse or for children, is not even going to be sexual exploitation, because children have been exploited sexually because they can't give consent. So it should be any kind of activity that they don't like, whether it is in the look, it is in the touching, it's in the hand holding, that they are uncomfortable with. We must have this open discussion with children. Boys get abused, girls get abused, right? So we must teach them these things. And because if we don't have these open conversations, then when suddenly they find themselves in that situation, they may be too ashamed to come forward, because they think, oh, I'm in the wrong, I've done, I let this happen. So definitely being friends with, which is why I said, play games with your children, do stuff with them. Let them know mommy is a cool mom, dad is a cool dad, let them see you as their parents. Yes, instill discipline when you have to, but be cool with them as well, so that they can confide in these things with you.
Yes. So basically, what do you think in terms of the future? What do you think? What are the predictions or projections, or how can we? What is the digital future for young Nigerians, for young children?
I would say the future for the digital future for young Nigerians, I think to a large extent would rest in the hands of our leaders, our policymakers. We need to get our policies right. We need to have the right infrastructures, the safeguarding structures that protect our children.
But you
right? I know, yes.
You were saying earlier
what?
that we don't have any form of any monitoring agency or nothing of that sort. No penalty.
No, we
So it's yeah. So as you say, we didn't have the policymakers. But let me let you go on. Sorry for interrupting.
No, no, it's fine. Yes, exactly. So we need those infrastructures in place, right? People providing internet services, wireless services, wireless services, they also have a role to play, right? They must also make these security features accessible to their customers and clients. And they must promote these features. It must become part of the things that they're selling, that they're giving people. Because if you're giving people access to access to the World Wide Web, then you should know that they're, especially when they're, if it's for the family, they should have those kind of features in it. Because whether we like it or not, the future is digital. The future of our children are digital. And so we need to learn to protect them. It's like saying you're building a house and you're not putting the doors, you're not putting the windows, you're not putting those security features. Live there. So it's essential. It's almost like driving without your seat belts. And it's even worse still because it's putting in place the right infrastructure, because whether we like it or not, children will access the internet. There's nothing we can do about that. We can't stop them. And everything now is becoming more digitalized than ever. So I would say yes. And then also for those doing advocacy in this area, especially the tech orbs that we have a lot of tech orbs springing forth, right? We have the Girls Code, we have the startups. It is high time also we begin to think of children in terms of CSR. What can I do for children, so that at the early age, once they're going online, they know how to better protect themselves. Are we including that in the curriculum? Are we including that in their orientation? Are we doing that? So I see a lot of, I would say I would like a future whereby, the government, these tech hubs, NGOs can come together and forge that path for our children, so that we are more assured that when they're going online, there's a system that protects them. They know where to report, and they know how to access services when that happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think you said something very profound, just including internet that you make. But so as a mom, this is a personal question that I'm sure most moms want to know. How do we manage our kids' screen time? Because really, we have to work, and then there's so much pressure to let them be. We're not doing much.
I'm not a mom, so I really can't advise like in terms of how how much screen time they're watching. But I would say that you should monitor,
Whatever.
you should decide what you think works for your family. Like, it's always good to also have boundaries as a family. Have online boundaries for your children, have watch time, playtime boundaries for your children. They know that between this time to this time, this is what they can do. If it is you saying they can only access, aside from schoolwork, if it is other online content, they can only access that when you're home. You can decide to do that. If you're not going to be home at home at most of the time, then pick up whatever device they use, go to the history, check the contents, browse through what they have gone through, so that any red flag, right? You can have a word, you can have a sit down with them and say, oh, I'm seeing, what happened there? I saw this and all, and try to get into the bottom of, because me, I think I'll be of more like a snoopy mother. Like I will snoop, I will so snoop the life out of whatever my kids do. Yes, but I would say determine the boundaries, let kids know the boundaries, talk to them about the safety that you're trying to help them that from, and also set parental content, parental limits for everything. Even DSTV has that, right? Where you can set the parental features, know where all those things are, because they're easily available. They are available. Also, even the apps, these platforms that your kids go to, there's age limits. Most of the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, is 13 years and above. You can register when you're 13. But I see where kids at 9 already have an Instagram account. If young children are going to have Instagram account, then you as the parent should be the one helping them post pictures. It should be managed by you until they turn 13. And there's also some social media platforms whereby, like YouTube, it has to be with parental supervision. So, also identify all those things as well, so that if whether or not it is right for your child to be alone on this platform and to be active on this platform without your supervision. Supervise whatever your children, whatever they do. Always browse their history. Always browse their history to know what they are up to know what they are up to. That is what I would advise. I can't say how much time they should have, but now we are turning digital, so it will be up to each family to determine what works for them.
Important for parents to be as digital savvy as possible.
Yes, get the education. Even IT provider, I mean, there's so many things they can do as added package is, calling, these times like this, having holding webinars for their clients, for their who are parents, and saying, come and learn about internet safety. Come and, there's so many opportunities that they can leverage on, to teach parents how to be internet savvy. And if they don't teach you, then go online and learn these things, and talk to your service provider, talk to people who are internet savvy, and let them tell you the things you need to watch out for, what you need to put in place to keep your children safe.
Thank you so much, Lola, for spending some time with us today. It was such a pleasure to have you with us. And so we're just going to end here. But again,
thank you
so much for joining in.
Thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in on today's episode of the Cable Live series, where we talk about the impact of the coronavirus disease on several sectors and the lives of Nigeria. And join us again sometime next week. Bye for now.